obviously. Do you think that his best is yet to come? In other words, like 2015, 16, 17, that 2-3 year window, might that be his best years as a decathlete?
I think yes, the answer is yes. Any decathlete that works through college and then goes on and continues that pursuit of excellence, because of you do 2 meets a year, you do 3 meets a year, maybe you have 10 events you have to figure out, time up, and bring them all to a peak. Yes, the future is always better for a decathlete. I would say up to 28, 29, 30 years old.
Easy.
Easy?
If easy on me.
If in fact you can stay healthy, and that's the key. That's really the key.
Ashton, are you healthy?
Yeah, I wasn't a couple weeks ago, and we've just done all the right things till now to make sure that I am.
And also, the same question to you, Ashton. Do you think your best is yet to come in this next 3-year period with the 2 World Championships and the Olympics?
I think it is. I've asked myself the same question, and I'm not sure if other athletes wonder, but in some of my events, it's been years since I've PB'd. Also kind of nice because I still have things to chase, as always, but based on what I do in training, I know as a multi-event athlete, I don't get to compete a lot to kind of show what I can do, but I do feel better than I did before.
Ashton, does preparing for U.S. outdoors differ from preparing for an Olympic?
Kind of. I think it depends on the year. This year we have the Pan American Games and also World Championships. I don't have to do the decathlon, so my preparation this year is different, but I think athletes are a little bit more serious.
Are you planning on getting a decathlon in for the World Championships, or
No.
are you concerned about that? I mean, did you wish you could have gotten one in? I know you weren't healthy because of the road, but you just weren't able to get one in before going to the World Championships?
I wasn't from the standpoint of being prepared. I don't think I need a decathlon before going to Worlds. I was only disappointed because the meet was such a good meet.
What do you think are you prepared to do in Beijing?
I was really looking forward to going for the world record again, and it's hard to put a decathlon together, but I felt good enough in all of my events that I thought I could go for it. And I guess I kind of do that anyways at all times, just kind of go for my best. So I don't think it'd be any different in Beijing. Those types of meets are a little bit different in that they're 12 hours long per day instead of 6 for the American system because they have the 2 session. And it's a little bit more difficult to have higher scores just because of the fatigue. But it's not out of the question.
Doing the long jump next week, what was the thought process in selecting that event?
Well, we thought it was kind of a bread and butter, which I like doing. I like having a good 100 and long jump going into competitions. And also, best chance to make Pan American team, which I also wanted to compete there. And just kind of get another meet in before World Champs.
If you finish in the top 3 here in the long jump, what will your decision be for the Worlds?
Oh, Worlds? Yeah.
Did you give up the spot?
Yeah, I'll still do the decathlon. I think it's at the very end. I don't know where long jump lies, but maybe later I'll save it for going for 11 or 12 events at a championship.
Looking back at 2014 and focusing on the 400 hurdles, did you get what you wanted to out of that year? How did it help you? What's your reaction to last year?
At the end of 2013, Coach and I said, we're taking next year off from the decathlon. And I think not focusing on your primary event just relieves a lot of stress because there's no expectation. And so in that sense, that worked. I had no stress in needing to perform in my event. And it also helped me physically in a way because the 400 hurdles is just demanding, and we like being really good 400 meter runners. And I think the last thing it did was reignite some sort of fire. When you do something new, you have to you're at the baby stages. And going through those stages is like the most fun. Learning new events, getting good at something again, instead of chipping away. That was really fun to do.
Were you surprised at how well Ashton did last year in the 400 hurdles?
Never surprised with what Ashton does. I learned long ago, you never put limits on anybody. You never tell them they can jump maybe 25 feet or 26 feet. You just keep teaching and coaching and let them go. So now it's, Ashton's a very, very good athlete, well-rounded person, and to piggyback on what he said, we rode back together at the end of last season from the last meet, and we bumped ourselves up to first class. I was eating ice cream sundaes and having fun. And Ash said, Coach, I can start training again tomorrow. I'm so refreshed. And that was really the goal of last year. Go do an event, do it really well. Who knows how well it's going to be, but just get refreshed. And it worked out that way good.
So were you still doing other events last year in practice just to kind of stay familiar with them?
I used the 400-meter hurdles actually in training. I did earlier this year. I haven't lately, but there was things I learned doing that actually helped my training a lot. But are you asking about last year?
I mean, yeah, last year.
I
Would
see.
you still do?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it was more show up to practice instead of there being a set schedule. I would show up and say, feels like a good day to high jump. So I did.
Could you run a good 400 hurdles now, you think? Or is it take specific work for that?
It takes specific work. It's a really interesting event that I still know nothing about. But what I would imagine is at the beginning of the season, you have a certain step pattern because you're not at your peak. And at the end of your season, it's quite a bit different than it is at the beginning. And so having not run races, it would be interesting to see what I would do.
Ashton, you're an ambassador of the sport. You're also a former teammate of Galen's. You know, what was your thought process when everything was coming out the last couple of years?
I don't think that I'm going to answer any of these questions because it doesn't. For every doping story, there's 15 stories of athletes who have come from nothing to something, to inspire or make some kind of connection with somebody. And that could be a young kid saying, hey, I'm in the same situation as this person, and look at what they did. Look at Andre DeGrasse. Read his story about coming from nothing and track saved his life. So I'm not going to contribute to taking away from this.
Ashton, what did you take from the 400 hurdles that you're still using in training now?
It's a mindset. I think there's the beautiful thing about the 400 hurdles is that you have to, and you can't hesitate, because if you hesitate, you're going to crash into hurdles. You have, in order to keep your certain step pattern, you can't say I need to slow down here. You absolutely have to gun it. And there was a lot of cool things with being forced to face, maybe not that fear, but that hesitancy, because I have hesitancy in every event. Coming into the pole vault, going into the long jump, going into the high jump, and just seeing how you can get by it when you're forced to is nice.
Where do you guys talk about coming back from Ashton? Where do we come back from?
Glasgow from
Scotland.
Commonwealth Games. Bria just finished the Commonwealth Games.
How many Sundays is it?
How was
How
what?
many Sundays is from Glasgow to here?
2
What's that?
ice cream sundaes.
I had, the lady started in saying, well, we have nuts. I said, stop, just put everything on it. I want the whole shooting match.
When do you compete at? What day do you compete? Sorry.
What day do I compete? Thursday.
One of the good things out of the 400 meter hurdles, in addition to a good time and his world ranking and all that, Ashton, as you guys know, is always a pretty runner, a very nice runner, efficient runner. Every coach teaches that for every athlete. He's even smoother now. So much so that he ran a workout, was it?
No.
The day before yesterday. And I always have him tell me what that time was, because if you learn pace, it's that much better for you as an athlete. And he thought it was real slow, but it was real fast. He's just smooth. So that was one of the reasons. In addition to say, hey, I'll see how fast you can run. It's a great training event for the decathlon for
There should be a meet where athletes are required to not do their primary event.
Actually, when you were running the hurdles last year, diamond circuit, what kind of reactions did you get initially from the other guys in that event?
I was worried about that, but I was well received, which I shouldn't have been worried about because I think a across all the track community, everybody's pretty awesome. And that was another awesome part, just being able to travel and see these competitors and the life of an athlete on the circuit, because I've never gotten to experience that. It's not easy. It's like week to week. You know, your competition is your training. I found myself using competitions to train, and in between doing strides. And they were really awesome. They were coaching me. And one of my favorite memories is after Paris, where I ran a terrible race. We're all in the cool-down room. Johnny Dutch is dying on the floor. And Felix Sanchez comes in. He's like, Dutch, you look dehydrated, man. He like starts pouring water all over him. Dutch is just like, oh my gosh. But they were just playing around, and that was their personality. And to humanize them a little bit more was really fun.
You have to get a better mindset just to use that weekly grind as opposed to doing something, once every 2 weeks.
Say it again.
The mindset of, running every, less than a week,
Oh.
as opposed to, decathlon, regularly.
I think I liked it because of that reason. The decathlon, we don't get to compete as much, and so I found myself adapting really well to competing every weekend, or every other weekend or whatever. I think I'm a decathlete because I'm a really competitive person, and so that fueled a lot of that. And it was just, I don't even know, no technique stuff, just pure competition, and I was really enjoying that.
Eric, you ever allow yourself to reflect on your career arc? 30 years ago, you were coaching Division II athletes at San Francisco State. Here you are coaching the greatest athlete in the world.
It does. I wrote a book, actually, and I just finished it. It's,
Like this.
and I just finished it, and there was a lot of reflection back then. I wouldn't have changed a thing on how things evolved over the course of my career as an athlete or coach. It's in the decathlon, heptathlon, it's really a teaching environment, because no matter how good the athlete is that you're coaching, they always have one or two events that they haven't figured out yet. So it's a challenge. To me, what keeps me enthused these days is the challenge to find a better way to explain how to high jump, throw the shot, whatever it may be, that kind of thing. One thing I'm looking forward to is getting back to U.S. Nationals here is Ashton usually always goes in late in the decathlon as the favorite guy. He's got 5 guys ahead of him this time in the long jump. So that'd be kind of nice.
Really far ahead.
Good competitive. I think 5, maybe 6. I don't even know, something like that. So U.S. Nationals to me here is a long jumper or as a decathlete is kind of like a conference championships. So all the USA comes together and say, hey, let's go guys, let's see who's the best. And Ashton's pretty competitive, so I think you'll have some fun out there.
What's the goal for the
To
U.S.
win.
Nationals? To win?
Yeah, definitely.
No limits. Don't limit yourself.
And so with the doping stuff, I think it creates skepticism with some people. Like, well, if you, at the very least, if you're not doping, you have to take all these supplements and prescription drugs. And would you want to comment on any sort of supplements, or do you take prescription drugs? That thing?
Because of all of that, I don't take anything. I think NyQuil is what I only take.
If Ashton was looking for a sponsorship for Flintstone vitamins, they wouldn't touch him. He doesn't even take Flintstone vitamins.
Okay, we good?